and the growth of Nigeria's local rice production and aquaculture. Smuggling hinders the local industry, discourages legal imports, and reduces the volume of revenues collected from duties and levies by the state. So this one is taking a look at the smuggling as its effect on the Nigeria's economy. My guests are already here. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll eat the ground on the place. Please stay with us. Welcome back. This morning we're taking a look at the smuggling as it affects Nigeria's economy. And my guest Odudo C-Suite, I have him already in the studio. I have Mr. Abiodun Oja, a financial expert and also a retired group head designate of a commercial bank in Ondo State. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Mr. Oja.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Oja.
Let's take a look at smuggling.
I'm sincerely grateful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, viewers at home.
So let's take a look at the topic of today, smuggling. How would you describe it?
Smuggling is an illicit activity. And I must confess to you, sir, there is an aspect of smuggling we've not been looking at. It has to do with illicit movement of individuals or persons. That's one I want us to look at it. Because goods and services are crossing borders of this country illegally. So the effect of smuggling ultimately leads to poverty. That is one of the reasons, basic reason why we have poverty in the land. Thank you.
So how will smuggling lead to poverty?
Thank you very much. When you bring in products into the country, for instance, China, they have basic amenities like cheap electricity and cheap labors there. Their industry is developed. So Nigerians would rather go to China to produce goods. I'm just using this as an example and bring it back to the country. Goods that are substandard. Go to Arakale, you will see what I'm talking about. So eventually, what we will find out happening in the country will be death of local industries. And when local industry die, we have what we call direct loss of government revenue because there are nobody to work and pay taxes. Then unemployment and ultimately poverty.
When you take a look at statistics that also have available, we discover that Nigeria loses 100 million naira weekly and over 500 billion naira annually from gold smuggling. Gold. Smuggling of gold causes Nigeria at this much 100 million naira every week. How would you react to that?
I have said it, that we create poverty by ourselves. And we've not been having influential and strong people who will put personal interest aside and put the interest of the country upon themselves. Look at America. It's America first. So influential people with private jets or helicopter can go to gold mine and move the gold out of the country from helicopter. What they do is that they cordon the place off. They have money to pay for bandits. I don't know where I'm making sense.
No.
So they will drop into the system from up.
Are we also getting all of this because we cannot actually process this gold to a finished product?
We can process it if we have the political will. We can process it. I said in the last interview that I did here that if I were Zamfara state, I would tell federal government not to be giving me allocation again. Leave my vote.
Okay.
So that's true federalism. Just every nation, every federating unit, I mean federating unit, every federating unit in this country is super blessed. There are a lot of time people don't look at their own blessing. They'll be looking at what you are carrying. That's the digression anyway. So
when you also look at other figures, you also see that 1.45 trillion naira worth of different goods are smuggled into Nigeria annually through Benin Republic. Benin Republic, what we are also getting from that is 1.45 trillion naira.
Now, that protests the fact that we are killing our local industry. Imagine taking good dust out of the country to go and refine and bring it back at a exorbitant price for Nigerians to buy. Now, we have Nigerians graduating, chemical engineers, they don't have anywhere to work. So, we need to reduce our personal interests. We people in power, deliberately inconvenience ourselves so that the masses can enjoy. I don't know whether we are getting what I'm trying to say. That's just it.
Also, the figures also show that the stolen oil is worth more than $10 billion, which is equivalent to 4.3 trillion naira.
That is humongous.
This is huge.
That is humongous. And I must be sincere. Everything still points to the same thing. That we people in power need to reduce some of our comfort. Comfort in itself is not a good thing. It stops you from thinking deeply. Now, that is not where I'm going. Where I'm going is that these bunkers are really the people in power.
When you take a look at these statistics, you also show that it also affects all sectors of the economy. When you look at what we are having, around 85% of the $1.4 billion worth of textile materials that flood the nation annually are smuggled. Also, we also that Nigeria is also losing as much as 300,000 metric tons of sugar to smugglers every year. So you also know that the trend also cuts across all sectors of the economy.
Yes.
Does it mean that the border is also porous? That's why we're also having all of these dumped on Nigeria?
Yes, absolutely. The borders are very, very porous. And I thank President Tinubu for his understanding of how things work in this country. I used to say that he has been through it all. And this is the first time we are having somebody who has been through virtually every aspect, and he ultimately has experienced corporate governance. So I believe that if we reduce the porosity of our border and we become more patriotic, be it security men, be it the politician, we will be able to bring employment to the table. Because I said earlier, sometimes ago, that do you see new industries? We don't see new industry just because of this same problem that people in power are taking the masses for granted. Are you getting me now? So, if we develop local industries, it's going to be difficult to do because I believe Nigeria is facing external aggression. We are overblessed and people are entering us. That's my belief.
So if you are overblessed and people are also helping us, does it mean that if you also allow goods to also come into the country illegally, more so that government is also encouraging local production? When you take a look at rice production, government has also said that this rice must be produced locally. But if you are having a huge number of it that will still also find their ways into the country, people think it will kill the industries.
Yes, definitely. Once substandard, non-nutritious rice are coming in, we abandon the Igbemo rice. Now we've found out that the Igbemo rice is more nutritious than the foreign rice. In fact, there was a time they were doing rubber rice. According to them, I saw it also. Yes, And today we found out that the rice is even more delicious now. So if we are just doing without thinking of the future, I don't know whether I'm making sense. The future will not come in a palatable manner. And all of us must put our heads on deck.
And one of the reasons that President Tinubu actually withdrew oil subsidy was because some people are also taking refined products from Nigeria to neighboring countries.
Yes, sir. That's one of the reasons why he saw everything. He waited for him to get to the power.
So how do we call this menace?
Orientation. Reorienting our leaders. Reorienting the masses. Reorienting them that we are blessed. There is no need to dapper. Sit down, think of what you can do in this country to make the country better. Nigeria first. Nigeria first. Nigeria first. To the leaders and the leaders, if I may use that word, Nigeria first. Nigeria first. Nigeria first. Think about it deeply. Yeah, the quest for money is a right for everybody. The quest for wealth is your right to be wealthy. Am I making sense? It's your natural right to be wealthy. But what is the cost of that wealth? So that's just it. You see people spending money. You understand?
So how can
the expense of the masses.
How can government actually police the borders and ensure that we do not have all of these goods coming into the country, and also the ones that we also produce here do not go outside the shores of the country illegally?
The government need to select good people and put them in terms of affair. Government need to select good people and put them in the aims of affair of our border. I know custom officers that are living very large, and you understand. I know custom officers that are living very large, beyond their means. Nobody asks questions, because I found out that evolutionary trend of a black man is not to read. And reading is beyond book. Reading people and reading situations. Understand? So I don't know whether I'm making sense. But some officers are living large. Government need to select people that will eat and remember tomorrow. It's a Yoruba word, but I'm just trying to translate it to English, word for word. Eat, remember tomorrow. Eat, remember tomorrow. Those are the kind of people that needs to be in the name of affairs of this border policing, so that we can make this country great again, and Nigeria can have its place in the committee of nations.
Because these people, these products also come into Nigeria illegally. There's no way those smugglers will also pay taxes to government.
Exactly.
To government. And so government is also losing huge sum of money to these frivolous activities.
Yes, sir. Just like fuel subsidy removal, it's going to be difficult. Tough decisions. That was what Tinubu made. And I told one of my mentors, I said, very soon, fossil fuel will be things of the past. Just like my son saw cassette recorder. He said, I told him, I said, this is what we used to play music when we were young. He laughed. Fossil fuel is only things of the past. That is the truth of the matter. So, let us use the fossil fuel to develop no, the removal of subsidy, rather, the revenue that is accrued to the federating unit due to increase in allocation to the removal of subsidy should be used to develop the kind of future we want to see. And President Tinubu, like I said, has taken the right decision by removing the subsidy. And come to think of it, all the aspirants, I mean, the three major aspirants said they will remove subsidy. They will remove subsidy. And they didn't protest when the subsidy was removed. That is it.
It's not even about removal of subsidy, though. When you take a look at this figure, 85% of the $1.4 billion worth of textile materials that flood the nation annually are smuggled.
Yes.
This one is also killing the textile industry that will also be...
The textile industry has been killed. Let me repeat it. Death of local industries, direct loss of government revenue, unemployment, and ultimately poverty. That is the menace of smuggling. And I will repeat again, sir. Smuggling is not only in goods, it's also in service or services. So that's why.
So how do you mean by services?
There was a friend of mine who finished from Obafemi Awolowo University, medicine and surgery. The country fought for him. He relocated to Saudi Arabia.
That's very rare.
And this is a guy who went to school for free. And he signed the Hippocratic Oath. So, when you look at this thing, you see that we are not patriotic enough, generally speaking. Another aspect of it is that, okay, he has been adapting. Because there was a time that a government of, penultimate government, or the government before the last, didn't pay his salary for 7 months. So he said, God, what do I do? A medical doctor who spent. So it's a dilemma for both us and them.
What do you think the attitude of Nigerians is also part of why smuggling is just thriving in Nigeria? Because everybody wants foreign goods. That's why we can also import 85% of the textiles that we use in Nigeria are imported. So is that not why we also encourage smuggling?
Yes, that is why.
We still prefer to...
But I used to say that one of us emerges to rule us. One of us emerges to rule us. Mr. Kune, one of us emerges to rule us.
How do you mean?
Among us, somebody with the government.
Exactly.
So, what is the attitude of an average of us towards the general welfare of the country? Those are the issues. So we don't just put somebody in power.
It's not even about changing our ways, by also encouraging local production and also ensuring that we embrace local products.
Come again.
I think what we need to do is to change our ways, change our orientation, by also encouraging local production to work by going for mainly Nigerian goods.
Exactly. We need to sacrifice. I admire Governor Olusegun Mimiko. He wears a
because if nobody buys from
in those days, he
if nobody buys from these smugglers,
yes, sir.
And they won't be able to do anything again.
Do you know Governor Olusegun Mimiko wears adire? I told someone that said it's a message of his admiration to local production of textile. Let's wear adire. Let's change our school uniforms to adire. It's not uniform. By doing so,
if you change to adire, don't you think that they will still be reported? People might
no.
not want to also have the adherence.
By the time we change to adire, the adire industry will have revenues to import modern machines that will be used to produce the adire. I don't know whether I'm making sense. The industry wants, fund is like blood. Money is like blood. Once the agri industry has the required fund, because now people are patronizing them. Are you getting me, sir? Since people are patronizing them, they have profit. From that profit, they pay tax to government. That is why you see direct loss of revenue as a negative consequence of smuggling. Now, what we have here now is the opposite of direct loss of revenue. I don't know whether I'm going to say. The agri industry becomes our textile industry. And from there, they can have the capacity to import or fabricate machines. Call our engineers from FUTA, industrial engineers. Okay, this is the machine, this is the process. They will design machines that will be producing this agri in an automated industry line. I don't know whether I'm making sense. So, that is it.
That will also create job opportunities. People will also have more work to do.
I am telling you.
But I still have this concern that if we do not patronize those people who are also doing this job, then they will discourage. They will be able to go to look for it again. If you are eating local rice, if you are not depending on the textiles being smuggled into the country, then they will have any job to do.
They will find a way, because the fear of the first world is that Africa should not rise. They will find a way. Africa is their farm where they extract human and material resources. That is the fear of the first world. We only have third world. I don't know where second world is. So if they can allow Nigeria or ultimately Africa to move to second world instead of staying at third world, we are not competing with them. They have their own strength. I don't know whether I'm making sense. We are not competing. But let Africa move.
Because of our time, let's look at how can we discourage smuggling in Nigeria, because we have also established that this is affecting Nigeria's economy. So how do we discourage it?
Leading by example. I told someone, I said, if the president is using innocent, I don't know why the president is not using innocent. I don't know. Because I emphasize it. I don't know why they are not using NORD, N-O-R-D. I don't know. And I emphasize it. So if the president is using the local made Nigerian vehicles, others will fall in line.
Would that stop smuggling?
It will start bringing waste products into the country. Your Tokuma car is a waste product. Don't let me discourage people's business. But I told one of my friends is to car this thing. I said, go and position for new car selling. Let's make this country great again. Where is British George? Where is Volkswagen assembly plant? We allowed them to die. Just because we did not put interest of the people above the interest of our personal interest. We people in power should put interest of the people alongside our own interest. Thank you, Mr. Kunle.
In the last 65 minutes, I've been speaking with Mr. Abiodun, or their financial expert and also retired group head designate of a commercial bank in Ondo State, and together taking a look at smuggling as it affects the Nigeria's economy. I want to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the show today. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
That's how I was going to be on the program today.
Very grateful.
Join us on Wednesday for another one. Kunle Abiyo is my name. Good morning.